Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lunch table. My name's Evan. Today I'm joined with Nick and Zach, and today we have a little bit different of an episode for you guys. We're going to be ranking our top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's not sports, which I know we usually do, but we're kind of at that period where, sports is kind of slowing down. So we're going to throw some pop culture stuff in there. We are big movie guys who watch movies all the time, so we're like, might as well talk about them. But before we dive in, make sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at lunchtable.takes, and to like and subscribe if you want more movie content on the channel. Let us know in the comments below as well. And yeah, we'll get started with number 10. Nick's going to start us off.
All right.
Nick, what's your 10th favorite movie?
Before we start this movie, I want to preface that these are our favorite movies.
Yes,
Not
best.
necessarily objectively best. With my list, I think that all 10 of these movies are objectively good films. I just have them ranked in order of favorite to not favorite. But 10 movies is hard. Like, we all discussed this, 10 movies. It's got to make some tough cuts, man. We do have some honorable mentions. We'll talk about those a little bit later. But number 10 for me is a movie I have raved about to you guys for months now, and I think I'm the only one that's seen it. My number 10 movie is La La Land.
I've seen La La Land.
It is
Never seen it.
It is. I am not a musical guy at all. Okay, when I saw this movie for the first time, I was genuinely shocked. I was blown away. If you've seen La La Land, you will know how good that movie is. It won Oscar. It won a bunch of awards for a reason. It's one of the best musicals I've ever seen. Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone kill it in that movie. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend watching it. I figured I'd have a little bit of a different movie in there. So yeah, La La Land is my number 10 movie of all time, favorite movie of all time.
I highly disagree.
Okay, that's fine. You haven't seen it.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
Great movie.
Twisted. You or me?
But great movie. You can.
Oh, I'm up.
Unless you want me to go.
No, I'll go. I don't care. So, like I said before we started, this was my hardest pick. The 10th. So I made my list because I don't know why, but I was under the understanding that this was the top 10 best movies of all time. But in my mind, if you asked me to make a list of my top 10 favorite movies and then a list of my top 10 best movies, it's going to relatively be about the same list in my mind. So that's how I made this, so whatever. But the 10th pick was nearly impossible for me to make. And it was between two movies. And the one that I didn't choose is the first honorable mention. So my 10th movie is Top Gun Maverick. That is a phenomenal movie. I watched it 6 times the year it came out.
Yeah, I'm
6
shocked.
times.
I'm shocked it's at 10 for you. Truly.
Well,
I thought it would be higher up.
It was a tough pick, but I mean, see, the other, once again, I made this list based on best, so the ones above it are, I think they're probably overall better movies. But this movie, I enjoyed this movie a lot. I watched it 6 times the year it came out. I went into the theater on, I believe it was opening night. I think me and you went and saw it on opening night. We went and saw it opening night, and I went into the theater, and I was like, you know what, this is just going to be a cool action movie. I love the first Top Gun. I was like, the sequel is probably not going to really be as good. It'll probably just be a cool, nostalgia action film. And I left the theater mind blown. I was like, that is one of the best movies that I have seen in a very, very long time. I mean, just an absolutely phenomenal movie. Tom Cruise is awesome. Miles Teller does a great job. You got Glenn Powell's a good character. The music is phenomenal. This is just an unreal movie. I cannot stress enough. I love this movie.
You got anything to add to Top Gun Maverick or no?
I mean, it's a great movie. I love that movie. It was one of those where, like you said, it came out right after COVID, right?
2022.
Yeah, so a couple years. And it was just wow, this was one of the best movies I've seen in theaters in a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I rewatched the first Top Gun a day or two before we went, and so that helped a lot. Kind of just having it fresh in my mind. But I mean, most of Tom Cruise's movies are really good movies, and I'd say that's probably one of his best. Him and Miles Teller, and just an overall great movie.
Miles Teller.
I think, Yeah.
if he didn't have a breakout with Whiplash, he
Yeah.
had it. With
Which Whiplash
this
is
movie.
underrated.
Whiplash is also a fantastic.
I think that I would say that this one is better than the first one, but I think that you have to watch the first one for this one to be as good as it is.
Yeah, because you don't know about like the legend.
Yeah, like there's a lot of nods to the original film that if you just watch this one without watching the original, it's not as good.
Yeah,
But I think this one's better, though. I would say.
yeah, because it ties in a lot. Because
Yeah.
obviously you wouldn't know the correlation between him and Rooster
Uh-huh.
and like the back and forth that they have.
Yeah.
because you wouldn't know what happened in the first one. So.
Yeah, it's just such a summer vibe movie. Summer's my favorite season. I love the heat. I love summertime, and it's just came out in May. Watched it
It's the
6
perfect
more
summer
times.
movie.
I mean, it's just an unbelievable movie. Yeah, absolutely love that movie.
Plus, I Ain't Worried is top tier movie soundtrack song.
Huh?
The I Ain't Worried song.
Oh
the beach
yeah,
scene.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Great
the
song.
beach football scene is a classic cinema scene.
But that song is.
We should probably give a spoiler warning.
If you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick at this point, what do you?
Go
yeah,
go
honestly,
watch
if you
it.
haven't
movie
seen
came
it,
out,
like
like,
you,
But yeah,
2
I will
years
say,
ago.
rest of this video, there's going to be a spoiler warning.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to talk about the plot, but if we do,
yeah,
then
yeah. So you should stop this if you haven't seen some of the best movies ever.
Or skip.
Or yeah, skip it. But yeah, I mean, honestly though, dude, like seriously, some of these other movies that I have in my list, it's like I understand if you haven't seen it. I mean, you're a moron if you haven't, but I understand if you haven't. But this,
You have no movie taste.
but this, like Top Gun though, like seriously, if you haven't seen that movie, like get a life, like actually, like this is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
You know someone that hasn't seen that movie?
Who?
I still I
What? Dude, are you kidding
I
me?
haven't seen it.
How?
I never got around to watching it.
Okay,
Well, now
you
you know
are that guy I was
I-
thinking of.
We didn't say anything.
No, he didn't say anything.
Then get a life. Watch the
I need to-
movie
I need-
tonight. Watch
Go home
it.
and watch
I
it.
need to watch that.
This is
movie.
objectively one of the best movies ever. I can't believe you haven't seen this movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
What in the world?
We were just talking.
We were just talking about it before you got here.
Dude, that is unbelievable. I can't.
All right. My number 10 is, I don't know if you guys seen this movie, but it's a little bit older. It's Ocean's 11. It's a very good movie with Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Matt Damon, just a stellar cast. Julia Roberts, Casey Affleck. It's just an amazing cast. It's like a heist movie, and I watched it for the first time like a month ago, and I was like, dang, this was really good. I was engaged the entire
Great
time.
movie. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, I was engaged the entire time, and I was like on the edge of my seat. And I mean, when you have a cast that star-studded, I mean, it was a great movie.
I don't have it anywhere on this list, but it's a great.
It's probably a little
great
recency
movie.
bias since I just watched it, but great movie nonetheless.
9. Do I start with 9?
Sure.
Yeah, you can start with 9.
All right. So this one was only tough because of the rankings. This one I knew was in the top 10, but it made it tough. Well, actually, no, I didn't know this one. This was a tough ranking, to be honest with you. Looking at the rest of my list. But at number 9, I have The Revenge of the Sith. That is one of the best Star Wars movies. I personally love that movie. It is one of the objectively best Star Wars movies, and it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I think it has the best fight scene in all of Star Wars.
That's one of the
Anakin and
best
Obi-Wan.
fight scenes in movies. Period.
Yeah, I mean that
Talk
Master
about
versus
elite
Apprentice.
choreography in
Yeah.
a fight scene.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get better than that.
I mean,
Just
I
take
just
the CGI.
Yeah.
I just think that is an awesome movie, and I think it's interesting to see the fall of Anakin. Like if you look beyond like the Star Wars and like the fight scenes and stuff, like you actually look at like the story of this character, like it's a really interesting storyline.
It's the climax of Anakin Skywalker's character.
Yeah.
In that movie.
It's a very interesting storyline to see the main character who's supposed to be like the savior turn into the villain, and he's a very, very, very bad villain in this movie. Obviously, well, we'll talk about that one later. But the Revenge of the Sith, I love that movie. It's
phenomenal movie.
It's
Great
been
movie.
one of my favorite movies since I was a kid.
Yeah, that movie.
Since I watched Star Wars.
That movie's in my honorable mentions. Revenge of the Sith is there.
Great movie. I don't
Fantastic.
have too much else to stress about it, but I mean, I'm sure most people have probably seen this movie. I would hope.
Yeah, by this point.
This has been one of my favorite movies.
I don't think not seeing Top Gun is as egregious as not seeing Revenge of the Sith.
It's
Yeah,
really egregious, but maybe not quite.
I don't think it's quite as egregious as this movie. Everyone knows Star Wars.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
and Disney's done a good job at like what they've put out recently kind of helps like expand the story of episode 3. Like you have the ending of the Clone Wars, which tied right into it.
Yeah,
And
that was good.
they've done a whole lot to kind of help that movie become like as good as it is. And I think that's really cool to kind of see the different like point of views from it and like how people now like obviously survived like the Jedi Purge and stuff like that. I think it's super cool. But that movie got a lot of hate when it first came out. People didn't like the prequels.
Which I don't understand why.
The first one's pretty. Phantom Menace is not great.
I think
outside of Darth Maul.
I honestly think people are way too hard on all 3 of the prequels. Like people say 1
Well,
and 2.
they're getting more love now.
Yeah.
Like people say 1 and 2 suck, and like 1 and 2 are very average movies, but I wouldn't say they suck.
I thought the Attack of the Clones was pretty good.
I think
I enjoyed that
I
movie.
think the Attack of the Clone. I think like episode 1 is like very very average, and then episode 2 is like slightly above very very average, but still average.
And then Revenge of the Sith is like up here.
Yeah, like if you don't like Revenge of the Sith, like
You don't like Star
I don't
Wars.
even really know what to say to you at that
Yeah.
point. Like it's just, I mean, if you're gonna hate on a Star Wars movie, hate on 7, 8, 9 because 7, 8, 9 are objective trash.
8 and 9. I think 7's
Seven's
good.
good.
I think 7's
7's just a carbon copy of 4.
Yeah, but 4's still a good movie.
Yeah, 4 is a great movie, but I
New
think
Hope is
7,
great.
8, and 9 could be way better than they are.
They definitely could.
Absolutely.
If you're gonna hate on any trilogy in Star Wars, that's the one.
Yeah.
Like
Most
1,
of
2,
them
and 3 are
we don't
not
count.
that bad.
Yeah, we don't count those.
Well, I don't think you can count 7 if you're not counting 8. And
I
9.
like 7.
I enjoyed 7.
I'm cutting all 3 of them off.
That's fair.
But
That's what most people are sure.
Revenge of the Sith is a very good movie. Though.
It is very good.
That one's my 9.
All right. My 9 is the first Avatar movie. The 2009
You forgot both the avatars, didn't you?
Avatar movie.
I didn't forget them.
Oh, you
I'm
said you
just
think
shocked.
that's I love that movie. It's one of my favorite.
I'm not
movies.
shocked.
I'm
I
shocked
I knew
that
you
is
loved
in
that.
there.
I don't.
Remember, this is favorites.
I know.
not
I
best.
know.
I knew. He loves Avatar.
I love it. Avatar is one of my favorite like movie franchises. I love those movies because I remember seeing it as a kid back in 2009, and it was like, holy crap! It's just like visually insane. I love the storyline of it. I love the characters, and obviously the second one came out a couple years ago. That movie was really good.
Yeah, second one was really good.
I thought the second.
I thought the second one was way better than the first one.
I agree.
Yeah.
Personally.
We watched the first one here, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't think it was.
Yeah. Well, it's just more like a nostalgia movie
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
Because it kind of started it all, and it was like you would first time ever seeing Pandora. You're just
Yeah.
like, holy crap, this is. And then really, if you go like behind the scenes, it's all like CGI'd, all motion capture, and like you couldn't tell at all.
It is crazy.
Like
What-
the
it is-
special effects that James Cameron
the
did
special
with it.
effects is phenomenal.
Yeah, and so for 2009, the special effects are like,
You saw
of
the
this
movie and you were
world.
like, "Holy crap, we can do this with movies now."
yeah. So that's more why I put it there. I know people are it's kind of polarizing. Some people don't like it, but I think it's a good movie.
That
I
movie
think
was
it's
the highest grossing movie of all time
for a
for
long
a
time.
long time.
Yeah, for a long time.
Until another movie, which I'm sure we all
I
have.
will get to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure we all have. here.
But I love that movie. I think it's really good. I've watched it probably 4 or 5 times. So yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I just like CGI is phenomenal. Obviously, direction
think visually
is great.
it's very-
It's just nothing happened.
Yeah,
in the
I
first
mean,
movie. Like I just
I'm not like I'm not gonna trash on anybody's list because it's like it's your own favorite movie, but like I'm not surprised that you have it, but it didn't even like
it didn't even
on-
cross my mind in terms
like
of all
the
time.
the Way of Water crossed my mind.
That's a good one.
That one's good.
Well-
it didn't really cross my mind, but that's a good movie.
Well,
that's a really good movie.
See, remember I told you my original list had like 22 movies.
Mm-hmm.
The Way of Water was like maybe I could put it in there, but I didn't. I didn't put the first one. I was like no, because the first time I watched the first one was actually after I watched the second one. And I didn't love it. Like I know the reason that people love it and hype it up is because like the CGI was phenomenal and stuff. But like honestly, like, but I guess it's because I didn't see it when it came out. Like seeing like the CGI, watching it now, like it's good, but it's not as good as some other movies. But it's also because I didn't see it when it first came out.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you're up.
All right, my number 9. I know you're gonna hate on this. You are definitely gonna hate on this. But it's the best animated movie I've ever seen. It's Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
I don't hate on that. I thought you were gonna say The Flash or something.
Oh, no,
'cause
no,
you
no,
for
no,
some
no,
reason
no.
like that movie.
I don't like. Okay, we're not getting into this debate right now. That is a different topic for another day. Across the Spider-Verse is hands down the best animated movie I've ever seen, and I don't think it's close.
How it didn't win Best Animated Movie this year?
It's ridiculous. It's a crime.
The Oscars is a joke.
Yeah.
There's so many good movies.
All
that-
those award shows are a joke,
Yeah.
but we don't have to talk about that. But yeah, best animated movie I've ever seen. I think me personally, I like the vibe of the first one more, but I think Across the Spider-Verse is objectively a much better film. I think the first one has more of a nostalgia factor because it was like 2018. It was like prime high school, Fortnite, whatever. But I think Across the
freshman
Spider-Verse,
year.
yeah, it was my sophomore year. I think Across the Spider-Verse is just objectively a better movie. It's got better directing, better soundtrack. It's just the ending of that movie still irritates me.
Yeah,
but only because we don't have the conclusion to this trilogy.
The ending is what brought it down for me.
Yeah.
Because that movie also crossed my mind. Because that movie is a phenomenal movie.
It's a masterpiece of animation.
I don't have it in my top 10, but I totally understand if you do, and I do not hate on that at all, actually.
I just remember when when we were talking about like trilogies, and I was like, the Spider-Verse trilogy needs to be up there. You were like, no.
Okay, because you were ranking it above, like,
If they hit on,
all-time classic, like...
if they
you
hit
know.
on this third one,
If they hit on this third one, it's going to be up there.
But, like,
all three movies just
I mean, as good as it is, it has no business being ranked above Lord of the Rings, the Star Wars,
It's not
the
concluded
Dark
yet,
Knight,
so we'll
like,
see.
you know.
we got to see how this next one.
Yeah, but I mean, best animated movie
Off to a good start.
I've ever seen by far. They killed it. I think it took them like 5 years to finish the animation for this movie, and you can tell if you've seen it. It's phenomenal.
Well done.
If you haven't seen it, I don't know what you're doing. Go watch it. It's a fantastic movie.
All right, I'm starting this one.
Yeah.
All right, number 8. I got the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The OG one?
The OG one.
Okay.
The first one.
The first one's the best one.
Yeah, I think the third one's really good, but
The
I'd
third
probably
one's
agree
good,
with
but
that.
the first
yeah.
That movie is hilarious, first of all. Super funny. The soundtrack is top tier soundtrack. There's just so many funny moments in that movie, and it's got good action too. I mean, it's very action packed, and you're kind of introduced to this group of characters that you have never really seen before, and it's a kind of a different, lighter side of Marvel than what we're used to. And the Guardians are amazing. I love that movie, and the other two were good, but I think the first one is definitely
The third
the
one's
best.
really good. The second one is
Second one
definitely a
brought it
step
down.
below the other.
Second one
two.
brought it down, but the first one I thought was really good. I love that movie. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies. So
Yeah. I don't have it anywhere, but I don't hate it. That's
Yeah,
a good movie.
it's a good movie.
It's a great movie. I'm a big time enjoyer of that.
I do like that movie a lot. It is one of the better Marvel movies.
Agreed. For sure.
So, me or you for 8? I'll take it.
Okay.
So this one is we're gonna wind the clocks on time back a little bit. This is a little bit of an older movie, but it is nonetheless a classic of cinema history. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, I forgot that. I forgot
You
that.
forgot that?
I forgot it. Oh,
The
that
Raiders
needs to
of
be
the
on there.
Lost Ark is an all-time film. I love that movie. That is one of the most classic movies. I really enjoyed the whole series growing up, but The Raiders of the Lost Ark is the best one. That
Raiders
movie
of
is
the Lost
awesome.
Ark is so good.
Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones is just such an awesome
Yeah,
character.
I think I'd probably have it in my honorable mentions, truly, but I didn't even. Cross
I don't know how it's
I
not in your
can't.
top 10,
I
dude.
cannot believe I forgot that movie entirely.
Like, I don't... Like, that's a movie that I feel like most people would put in their
yeah,
top 10.
I agree.
Like, whether we're talking best or favorite, like, this movie is just... I mean,
Phenomenal.
Just everybody loves The Raiders
yeah,
of the Lost
from start
Ark.
to
It's just a
finish.
great movie. Yeah. Awesome film.
Yeah, there's not much debate there. I can't believe I did it.
Yeah. I mean, you got your... I mean, yeah. I love
It's
that
great.
movie. But
Um,
what do you got?
my number 8 is, we're also rewinding the clocks back a little bit. Also a cinema classic. I don't think it's one of the most emotional movies of all time. It's Schindler's List. It's the, I mean,
I haven't
the
seen
true. I believe it. It is a. It's a gut wrencher.
I've heard it's a very very good movie.
It's very, it's
Liam
phenomenal.
Neeson.
Yes, Liam Neeson. I'm blanking on the guy's name that played the SS officer Amongoth, but he was in the chef movie with the horror one. I can't remember what it's called. With Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
I can look it up.
Yeah, The Menu. That's what it is. That's
Yeah,
what it is.
The
Yeah,
Menu.
yeah. He's in that. I thought that was a good movie, but Schindler's List is. I think that is objectively a top 10 movie of all time. I'm just being honest. I think Schindler's List is a top 10 movie ever made. If you talk about,
Ben Kingsley.
yeah, I think so. I think that it is the best movie at depicting the true horrors of the Holocaust. No movie ever even comes close. It doesn't come close. Schindler's List is, I think it's a must-watch for everyone. I think everyone needs to watch it at some point in their life. Also won basically every award it possibly could have in the early 90s. Liam Neeson delivered a career-defining performance in that film. That movie is just... the scene where he a little bit of spoilers.
No, I don't want to hear you
You don't wanna
spoilers.
hear
No,
spoilers?
because
Okay,
I actually really
okay,
want to watch this movie.
Okay. All right. It's if you haven't seen it, watch it as soon as you can. It is a unbelievably sad, phenomenal movie.
I've heard great things. I just never got around to it.
I got around to it.
Was that 8?
That was 8. Yeah.
Did you go with your 8?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I started
Guardians.
with-
All right, I'll
You can start
start.
with 7.
I'll start with 7 then. Now, I glances down at my list, and I mean, honestly, like, I love all these movies, but like 7 to 1, it's like, oh yeah, like these are all really good movies.
Yeah.
So 7 is actually a movie that I finally got around to watching recently. It's not a new movie, but I just got around to watching it recently. It is Interstellar. I love that movie. That movie was freaking awesome.
I watched that in theaters the other day. Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Re-released
that
in theaters.
that movie is freaking awesome. I mean, like, just Christopher Nolan. I mean, he's the best director in Hollywood. Like, I mean, it is just unreal how he delivers these movies and how realistic they are, and like
It's unbelievable.
the amount of like research that they did for this movie, like the amount of research that they did for this movie to make it as real as possible is just crazy. Like,
Yeah,
like,
I think-
like black hole theory, like
He had an
time travel,
an
like, it's
astrophysicist.
crazy.
That is
like,
the
on
most
it.
impressive part of that movie.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything else, the acting's fantastic.
Yeah,
CGI is
Matthew
unbelievable.
McConaughey is awesome
Yeah.
in that movie.
That is the most impressive part of the movie, is how realistic it
Yeah.
is to what actually
Like,
goes
I
on.
just like it's one of those movies that like I sat there and I watched it and like I had to read about it afterwards to like really kind of fully understand everything that happened. But then after that, like my reading of that movie like leads me into like, like black holes, like wormhole, like interstellar travel through wormholes, like black holes, like time travel. Is that like possible? Like, so like I'm reading into like I am not a science guy by any means, but that movie got me reading about like
it took
time
you down a
travel
rabbit
theory.
hole that
Yeah.
is like, holy crap.
Like I'm sitting there at like 3 a.m, like reading about like if it truly is possible to go through a black hole and time travel. Like it's like what? So that movie is just freaking awesome, and like that movie almost brings me to tears, dude.
Yeah, I
like
almost
sitting there, like there are so many moments during that movie where it's just like gut wrenching. You're just like, oh, you know, how time works so far out of our solar system is just unreal. So Matthew McConaughey ages by like a year or two, and he watches his
The
entire
scene where they're at
daughter's
the
life.
planet, we've all seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
The scene where they're on the planet and he comes back and like 23 years have passed or something.
No, it's more than that. It's like
I think
oh
it was like,
yeah.
The one where they go on the planet
the
to
water
get data. and
The
they
water,
have to-
the
yeah,
water planet.
one.
They're on the water planet for 5 minutes, and they get back up there, and the
23
dude,
years have
the
passed.
dude was on the ship for 23 years.
Yeah.
Like what? Like It is just so wild, and that's like how time.
That's how it works.
Yeah,
when
it's
you,
just
when
crazy.
you got a planet that's close to a black hole. That's
I
how
mean, that
it
is
works.
just unbelievable. So like, I'm doing research on that. I'm like, man, that's crazy. And just like when he's watching his daughter's life, like video, like she,
Yeah.
like as she takes the video diaries of her whole life, and then he gets stuck in the fifth dimension, and she pulls him out. I mean, it's just.
Oh man.
And then when he ages by like a year, and she's like 100 on her deathbed.
She's
when he
on her
finally-
deathbed when he comes back.
But you know what? He still delivered though.
He did. He did deliver his promise.
He promised that he would see her again, and he did. But man, it was that movie is just that is one of the best movies that I've ever seen. Like I watched that movie, and I was just like, wow. Like I mean, it's not like one of the most fun. Like Top Gun Maverick is like one of the most exciting action movies.
Yeah,
But, like
yeah.
this movie I watched, and I was like, just like, wow. Like that was just Christopher Nolan at his finest. I mean, that movie is just unbelievable.
Yeah, no, that movie was so good.
My number seven is also a Christopher Nolan
Ah.
film. It is not Interstellar. It's Oppenheimer.
Okay.
I mean, listen, I saw it on IMAX opening night.
I wish I could see
Best movie experience I've ever seen. This is the best experience I've had in a movie theater with any movie ever. The scene where the bomb explodes, I felt it in my soul, dude. I felt it here. It's
It was a
you
really
talk
good
about
movie.
star-studded cast.
Yeah.
That might be the most star-studded cast I've
Yeah.
seen in any movie ever. From top to bottom. Every single... Like, what? Josh Peck is in the movie for like 2 minutes, and he has a crucial role. He's determining if everything's right so they can blow up the atomic bomb. And I know people, like, some people aren't a fan of it because they don't like biopics or something. They're big, like, action. Stuff has to be happening at all time. I'm like, you have the attention span of a hamster.
Yeah.
Your attention span is fried. Like, I remember seeing it and people told me, oh, that movie's so overrated. Nothing happened. I'm like, that's the point of the movie! It's depicting Oppenheimer's real life.
Yeah.
From when he became an atomic physicist to basically his death.
Yeah,
Or
I
since
thought
when
it
he
was
got like not really excommunicated, that's not the right word, but when he got like booted from the US Security Council. It's just fantastic movie. Most people have seen it. It was like the Barbie and Oppenheimer was the big thing
Yeah.
during last summer.
It was a really
It was
good
the
movie.
thing.
Yeah.
I love it. I
But
think it
what-
was well worthy of all the Oscars it won.
Yeah, it's
Yeah. Once again,
Well
though,
deserved.
like stepping away from the movie, like looking at like the big picture of this story, like it truly is possible to end the world by what he
Yeah.
created. Like that is horrifying. Like when I watched that movie and I left the theater, I was more so like,
Scared.
yeah, because it's like,
It's the reality of the world that we
yeah,
live
and that's just like terrible. Like honestly speaking, like this dude created what could very well end the world. Like I mean, it won't.
in. He
but-
lit the flame to potential nuclear
yeah,
Armageddon.
Like I'm not saying that like that's what's gonna end the world, but like
it's a real possibility
Yeah.
that is what causes.
there is
the
like
fact that that's
like
out there.
yeah, like people have the power to blow up like countries and like nations and like continents with this stuff.
like that.
Yeah, and
Not
it's-
even over the
What
like,
was
like that.
What
and
was
it,
the line?
it makes you think. It's like yeah, this won us the war, but was it really worth it?
Well, I don't think we're gonna get into that.
Like,
I mean, it's a question that you got to ponder.
Well, yeah, but
Once
it's
you
like,
learn about that.
at the point in time, it like yes, like it's like oh that like World War II's over, yes, but look at what he created. That is
Look at the ramifications of
like this could not only end World War II, but the world. Like that's just terrifying. But it was a great movie.
I don't think there's we'll see off time because nuclear war is like kind of a newer concept.
Yeah.
But I don't think in the grand scheme of things, like there's not a movie out there that depicts the horrors of nuclear war
Yeah.
better than
Well,
this movie
and
does.
you know,
That was
Nolan's very popular of like for not using CGI. Like he didn't use CGI for the explosion at all. That's why it looks so good. But I just remember sitting at like after that final scene when he told Einstein he was like, I thought we might start a chain reaction that would destroy the entire world, and I believe we they played like the score, which phenomenal by the way. I was just sitting there like, holy crap.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I was like, damn. But also, this is a little like nerdy, but the editing style of that movie is so good.
Elite.
It's so good. How they cut from him like now to his past, and then shift from like his view to Strauss's view, and it's in black and white. It's so cool how
So
they were
clean.
able to do that.
Yeah.
And you can, and it's not confusing either. You follow exactly what's happening throughout the whole time, which I love when they do that type of editing style. I think that's so good, and I thought that was really good. Yeah, Oppenheimer's a great movie.
You're up.
Now I'm kind of regretting my list.
Yeah, I feel like your list is terrible.
Wow, way to be a... I can't say that word on the podcast, but come on now.
It's okay.
My list sucks. No,
Hey, he said he's regretting it himself.
No, I wish I didn't put Interstellar on there. I should have, but it's okay. We're gonna go with
There's another one that you should have on there too.
How do you know what his list is?
Because he said beforehand he doesn't have it on there.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
it. But at 7, I put Dune 2. I thought that movie was phenomenal. I left that movie like, holy crap! What did I just witness?
I think you had the same reaction to Dune 2 as I did with Oppenheimer
Yeah.
after I saw it.
And I've seen it twice, and it's blown my socks off both times. Like, visually stunning, plot amazing. Timothy Chalamet, that's one of his best.
I think that is
His best
Yeah,
movies,
like
by
he-
far, in a way.
Yeah, and like it sets up for like a really good third movie. I'm excited for that. Like I left that movie like, holy crap! And I've only done that a couple times in movies, which they're on this list. And just like, oh my goodness, like what the heck did I just watch? And it took me like a while to just process like everything that I just watched.
The only reason that movie is not on this list is because of recency bias.
Yeah,
I feel like
Which, that's what I said.
it's a little too soon.
Mine's
to
probably
like
recency
this.
bias.
Like you can't put it on there
Yeah.
yet. In my opinion.
I think if we were doing this like a couple years from now, I probably would have it.
I have it on my like top 20. Like I out of all the 22 movies I listed, it's on there. It's just not in the top 10 for me.
It's a phenomenal movie.
Great movie though.
Part-
Very
it-
good movie.
It could very well be our generation's Lord of the Rings or Star Wars.
It'll
Trilogy.
it'll crack the top 15 for me.
Yeah, for
within
sure.
a couple years for sure. But
I think we're all in agreement that we all saw it together. So,
yeah,
like,
it was
yeah.
a very good movie. Very good movie.
Elite movie for sure.
It was
Score, phenomenal,
Oh, absolutely.
unbelievable.
Well, because it was Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
And Hans Zimmer.
Hans
is
Zimmer,
one of
talk
the
about
best,
making
like
movie
composers,
scores.
He's the
dude.
best composer.
Hans Zimmer is awesome.
All right, number 6. You want me to start?
Go
Number
for
6.
it.
All right. You got to have one of these movies in here. I think it's objectively the best of this franchise. It's Star Wars: Empire Strikes Back. It's got to be in there. It's got to
Arguably
be
the best
in
Star
there.
Wars movie.
Yeah, I think it has to be in there. I mean, it's a phenomenon. It's a movie that defined the next 50 years of cinema. People are still copying twists from this movie. They're still copying Darth Vader's character, Luke Skywalker's character. I mean, it's just... I think it's easily the best Star Wars movie. I think it's one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah.
Peak sci-fi, this movie. We've all seen it. There's not much that needs to be said.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
You have to see it if you haven't. Again,
You
it's
have.
Star Wars. You
But
know what Star
everybody's
Wars is.
seen this
Yeah.
movie. Like if you live under a rock, if you haven't seen this movie.
The twist, the twist, obviously, is kind of a meme now. But when Darth Vader tells Luke, "I'm your father,"
Yeah.
like
Like, I obviously we didn't watch that in theaters, but I felt like
If we
did,
did,
we'd be like,
what?
A gasp.
Yeah.
Like what in the world?
Yeah, I think it has to be
Plus,
here.
the
I think it.
Hoth, the world of Hoth is sick.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I think it has to be here.
Yeah, it's a great
It
movie.
has to. You gotta
Very
have
good
it
movie, very
here,
good movie.
personally. So yeah.
All right. My 6 is this is getting into some of my real favorites now. And at 5 and 6 was a flip of the coin for me, so I just chose my personal favorite, which this is going to be a really hot take. I understand this, and nobody agrees with me on this, but it's my personal favorite. So at number 6, I have Infinity War. I really enjoy. I am a huge Marvel fan. The Marvel universe is my favorite like movie thing. I
Like cinematic universe.
yes, yeah. I love the Infinity Saga, Iron Man through Endgame. I mean, there really isn't movies that I really like better than those, to be honest with you. Like I just absolutely love the MCU movies. And the Infinity War is one of the best ones. The Infinity War is like the biggest superhero crossover like ever. And
I don't think it'll ever be topped.
I don't think it will. But the thing that's really interesting about Infinity War is that the villain wins. And that's an interesting spin, you know?
It doesn't happen all that often in
No,
movies.
and it's
especially
really...
movies of that magnitude.
Well, and if you look back on my list a little later, you know, Revenge of the Sith, the villains win. So it's an interesting plot for movies. But Infinity War is just a really powerful movie. Like, that movie was...
That's a great way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's in your face.
Yeah, like, it's just a great, awesome movie. A real, like, tear-jerking movie. I'm sure most people have seen it by now as well. It's just a really, really awesome movie. So that's 6 for me.
All right, my 6. I'm going to switch my list a little bit on the spot. I'm going to put Interstellar at 6. I feel like I couldn't. I felt terribly
You can't leave it
not
out.
putting it out.
You can't.
I mean, you discussed pretty much a lot of reasons why, but a couple interesting facts about the movie. When they're on that planet, the water planet, if you listen, there's the ticking of the
Yeah.
clock, and that's every day on Earth, which is a super cool detail that they put in.
It's like really like just mind blowing.
Yeah, and then like I almost cried multiple times during like the scene where he's rewatching his life, and then or rewatching his kid's life without him. Like that's heartbreaking. But yeah, great movie. The CGI in that movie is amazing, even though Christopher Nolan doesn't like using CGI, but when he does, he uses it right. And I just think it's cool that he made it a thing to have the black hole as accurate as he possibly could. And like you both said, it looks absolutely phenomenal. So great movie.
You're up.
Oh, I'm doing 5? Okay.
Oh, okay. No.
Did you do 6?
Yeah, I did 6.
Okay.
It was Empire.
Oh,
that's
right.
I'll do 5 then.
We'll
So
do this way in 5.
So for number 5, as I said just a second ago, it was a flip of the coin for me. I chose my personal favorite. I have Avengers Endgame at number 5, and I know that's a hot take because
You know my opinion on
a
that.
lot of people for some reason don't like that movie, and I think you're an absolute idiot if you don't like it. To be honest with
It's a
you,
great movie.
that movie is. I said Infinity War was powerful. I think Endgame is powerful. This movie, every time I watch it, I mean, eyes are stuck on the screen. I mean, that is just an unbelievable movie. Like, I just don't have words for how this movie is. I mean, it is just the perfect ending to the entire 23 movie saga. Like, I mean, like, you cry so many times throughout this movie. Like, the main characters in the entire Marvel universe, their storylines hit the perfect
It's
landing.
the climax
on their head.
of it's
like
it's
Iron
where it
Man and
ends.
Captain America come full circle, and it is just beautiful, to be honest with you.
Hawkeye,
Like this
Black
movie,
Widow,
yeah.
the
I mean,
Hulk, everyone.
this
Everyone
movie-
has a part to play.
yeah, but like the main characters in the Marvel are like Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, and 2 of those guys' storylines comes full circle in this movie.
Thor had a bigger role in Infinity War.
Yeah,
They freaking nerfed him.
They did do that.
I hated that.
Different topic for a different day.
Yeah.
But
I
they
don't-
nerfed him into the ground in Endgame.
yeah. I don't like the direction that they went with Thor in Endgame, but I mean, in the final battle, he's pretty tough.
He's Thor.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still Thor.
yeah. I just don't really like how they made him fat, and
Yeah.
I don't like
But
what
Infinity
they did.
War
Infinity
Thor
War.
is
He was probably
ridiculous.
Yeah,
he was probably
Infinity
one of the
War
most
Thor
powerful
is-
beings in the entire universe.
Yeah.
Infinity War Thor is awesome.
He was on after his planet got after Asgard got blown up.
Yeah.
He was on a mission.
I genuinely believe that what they did with Thor is just about the only mistake in the entire Endgame movie.
Yeah, I agree.
That movie
I'd agree with that.
That movie is just unbelievable. I don't even have words for this movie. I love this movie so much. And like the portal scene is one of my
probably one of the
favorite
best scenes
scenes.
ever.
It's one of the best scenes in cinema ever.
That might be my favorite cinema scene of all time.
Absolutely.
Like that
For the final battle.
literal chills.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just 3 hours of just utter awesomeness, and it is just the perfect ending to the entire Marvel universe.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Yeah. The entire Infinity Saga. I'd agree with that.
well, the new stuff they're doing ain't.
Well, yeah, we don't talk.
Yeah.
Different time for
Exactly.
They might be bringing it back to Deadpool movie.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
I don't.
But as of right now, it's not good.
Yeah. But it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
to
me
Absolutely.
personally, Endgame's not anywhere on here.
I know a lot of people don't like
Yeah, you all know my thoughts on Endgame. The reason why I have Infinity War above Endgame is because Infinity War, right from the jump, is just constant. There's constant, like, ramifications of what's happening.
it. Yeah.
I get, like, obviously in Endgame, major spoilers, but they kill Thanos on his own planet. And then they deal with the ramifications for the next, like, 90 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? I get that's obviously what's going to happen when half the universe dies, but it's just slow for, like, that middle 90 minutes. But then the last hour, Euphoria. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That, like, when I go to see movies, that is what I want to see.
Yeah.
And they, last hour of Endgame, one of the best hours of movie I've seen, period. Definitely worthy of this list. But the reason why it's not on here is because the middle 90 minutes I thought were kind of slow. But
Now, I will say, though, like I said with Infinity War, it's an interesting twist to see the villain win. Ultimately, I'm still a sucker for good endings. I love when the heroes win. And I think Endgame is just... I mean, the villain wins. Half the universe is gone. They got to pull themselves back together, get up off the ground, and figure out how to beat this guy. And they beat a seemingly impossible villain to beat. And it's just a great ending. I don't have words for how much I love this movie.
Great movie. All right, 5, right?
yeah, 5.
Okay, my 5 is Revenge of the Sith. I think it's the best Star Wars movie. I mean, like we mentioned, best lightsaber duel, definitely. Just how Anakin turns, I think, is great storytelling. And I think, like I mentioned, I think it's cool that a lot of stuff is like tied into it now with like shows and everything, which kind of expands the horizon of what we thought it was. And honestly, it's heartbreaking to watch like this guy who was chosen get like lied to basically, and his emotions torn, and now he's the biggest bad there is. I think Anakin is one of the best character arcs ever, and I think that movie is his tipping point, and I think it's the climax of, like you said, of his character and
Might be the climax of the whole Star
Yeah,
Wars
and the
franchise.
Star-
I mean,
Star Wars in
Darth
general.
Vader is the best villain of all time, and I think he has the best character arc of all time. Yeah, like 2 and 1 there. But also, I did forget to mention that with the Endgame, it's also nostalgic because when that movie came out, it was one of the biggest events in the entire world. And my grandpa took me to go see that opening night in the pouring rain, and it was just awesome. So
I saw both Endgame
That's-
and Infinity War.
that's that too. So shout out to my grandpa for that.
All right, my number 5. This is going to come out of left field, I think, for both of you guys.
It's Field of Dreams.
Yeah, Field of Dreams. I like horror movies way more
You've seen
than
them.
you guys.
Yeah, and they're freaking horrible.
This movie made me...
They're all terrible. This better be a good horror movie.
Yeah, it is.
And I better have
This,
seen it. And
this
said, "Oh, it's actually a
movie
solid movie."
made me feel things that I haven't felt in any other horror movie ever. It's Hereditary.
Okay. If you like horror movies, then yeah. That is
Hereditary
the scariest
is-
movie I've ever seen in my life.
Peak, like...
You seen it? Don't ever watch it. Don't
You,
ever watch
listen, you need to, but you might not sleep.
it. No, don't.
For
You
the
don't
next,
need to.
like-
If you haven't seen it, don't watch it.
I've seen clips of it.
I'm
Save
going to
yourself.
make a caveat. If you don't like horror movies, stay far away from this movie.
As
But-
far away as you possibly can.
But if you can even tolerate horror movies, this movie will make you feel things that
I don't know, man. You're dancing with the devil in this movie, man.
it's rare.
Even if you like, I mean, because I can tolerate horror
Yeah.
movies. Like I've seen like Smile, I've seen Conjuring, like all this crap. Because like when I was in 8th grade, like all of us like watched them because it was fun to get like a spook, and also everybody enjoyed watching me because I was horrified.
Yeah,
So that
reasonably so.
But so I've seen so many of them now that it's like whatever. Most of them are terrible and not scary, but this one, like, dude, I can handle myself in a horror movie, but this one was different.
It's something. Oh man. From start to finish is just unsettling. From quite literally the final shot of the movie is just. I don't want.
I have never watched a movie and been so unsettled, horrified at the same time, and I've never had a movie stick with me like that.
It made me feel alive, and not. There's not a ton of movies that can make you feel the way that movie
makes
does.
you feel something, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't say alive is the word.
It's oh man. It's
That I watched that movie, like I said, unsettled, sheerly horrified the entire time. But like, as soon as that movie ended, I sat there in just like utter like horror. Like, I genuinely wish I would not have watched that movie.
I love it. I think it does exactly what it needs. I think it does exactly what a horror movie needs to do.
And
I think it's the best at it by far.
It sticks with you too.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that movie comfortably left me for like a week.
Yeah.
like
sure.
like I was not like comfortable for like a week after watching that movie. Like, it is just genuinely like if you
it's
like
horrifying.
if that's what you're going for and you're a horror fan, then like this is the one. This is the best horror movie that I've ever seen. Best as
It
in,
is horrifying.
best
Truly
as in
horrifying.
I absolutely like best as in I hate the movie, but like if you want horror, that's the best one.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
for sure.
Yeah. I will
It's
say
in
though,
there for me.
now that we're talking about horror movies though, just to give a quick horror movie like shout out though, Get Out.
Get Out's also fantastic. Yeah.
That is, in my mind, that's not really a
more of a
horror
It's more of a
movie.
thriller than a horror
And that's
movie,
actually a
but-
good movie. Though.
Yeah.
Like that's a solid movie.
That's a
I've
really
I've seen
it's
that
a
movie.
great movie.
I've seen that movie 2 or 3 times now.
Jordan
Peele.
That was his debut.
Yeah. And his other movies haven't been as good.
No, they're still good, but they're not Get Out.
No, that movie's actually a pretty solid movie.
Get Out's phenomenal.
Solid movie. I think he did Us too, didn't he?
He did.
That movie's kind of that movie's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not
I
like
watched the trailer for this. I'm not watching the movie.
it's not as bad as what you think it would be, but it's kind of creepy though.
Yeah, it is.
It's
I saw it with my sister.
it's not like I didn't sit there and I'm like
Yeah, it's,
Like-
it's
like-
just
Like, I didn't feel like I was, like, in the presence of a demon watching that movie, but, like, I was like, this is kind of creepy. This is a strange movie. Like, the, Hereditary, I was like,
Oh,
this
dude, wow.
is, like, terrifying.
Horrifying.
Like, I was like, this, like, I wish I wouldn't have watched that.
Yeah.
Like, the scene where she's crawling on the ceiling,
Yeah. That's like tame compared to some of the other stuff that happens.
I don't want, like,
That scene is tame compared to some of the
well,
other
yeah,
things that
but like,
happen.
and I remember this movie is so bad that like me and John and Landon, I think it was the three of us, we were hanging out one night, and we were like, you know, that was like while we were in like our horror movie thing. We were like, oh, you know, everybody says this movie's pretty scary. It looks
see
scary.
how good it is.
Well, we watched the trailer. We're like, yeah, the trailer was a little unsettling, so let's give it a watch. And dude, we stopped it like less than halfway in.
You didn't finish it?
No. I finished it later. I finished it later. And I regret finishing it, but that's one of those things where it's like we stopped it halfway and we should have let it be. Like that is something where it's like you drop it and you don't come back to it. Like that movie was bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Some
like
things you can't unsee.
like that I think telling you that we stopped it like less than halfway in like emphasizes like
How terrifying
yeah,
it is.
like all three of us like consensusly were like, okay, no, we gotta turn this off. Like this is bad. Like the bird scene, and then the when he's driving home after the party. Yeah, we turned it off about after that.
yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Easily the best horror movie I've ever seen, and I don't think it's close.
And I think, and this will also give you some magnitude to it as well. Doucette will even tell you that.
I watched it with Doucette.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
me, Roman, Doucette, Zay, and Nate-Mac.
Yeah,
It was us five.
And you know, Doucette doesn't get. I mean,
He doesn't get,
And
even
he-
he's like, bro, this is
yeah.
brutal.
If you know Doucette,
he doesn't get scared.
and he said
No, I've heard it's like by far the most scary.
that is like people say The Exorcist is the most scary. This is
I think this is the Exorcist of
our time.
Our time.
This is
Yeah.
the scariest movie that you will ever see in your life, by far and away. Like we like when we watched the Smile trailer in theaters, I was like, dude, this might be the scariest thing I've ever seen. But when we actually watched it, I was like, this was scary until the end. But it's not. This movie is like This movie's not just scary. This movie messes with you, like, in every way. This.
It's something.
Don't
we've,
watch it
We've
if you
spent
haven't
too
seen
much time talking
Don't
about
watch
it.
it if you haven't
Man.
seen it.
All right, I'll start with 4. My 4 is Endgame. Phenomenal movie. I think the third act of that movie. I think is one of the best like third acts ever. The portal scene, best scene. It's like I remember watching that opening night in theaters, and the entire theater just like gasped when that happened. They were like, what? And they were
Erupted.
stood up clapping.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous. And then, like you said, they ended Iron Man perfectly.
Did you guys know Iron Man dies in Endgame? I don't think you guys knew that.
Yeah. He says, I am Iron Man.
He does say
And then
that.
dies.
And, yeah.
And then they put a great ending to Captain America as well. So they sent 2 of their most coveted characters away the best they could. And phenomenal movie. Thanos is an all-time villain. And yeah, great movie. The portal scene, final act is just breathtaking.
I think we also have to like take into account how big of an event this was.
It was a huge.
Yeah.
This
Well,
this was a worldwide
phenomenon.
like
Well, because
yeah.
because Infinity War came out in 2018, Endgame came out a year after.
yeah.
So people were still kind of reeling from Infinity War.
Yeah.
And then they just put it out there. We're like, holy crap! And
Like,
yeah.
And
the
everybody
biggest
knew,
superhero crossover.
like everybody knew that this was like the culmination of the whole thing. So
Yeah.
like this was a worldwide like
This was
huge.
This was
huge.
the bow on a like tour like.
It was a bow on like
11
10
years.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
11 years of
12
movies.
years of
Yeah.
movies.
This was probably the biggest like worldwide film phenomenon that I've ever seen.
Does it have the record or Endgame or Infinity War? Which one?
Endgame broke the
think
record,
Endgame
but
broke
Avatar re-released and broke it again.
Yeah.
Didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Endgame technically deserves it because Avatar, screw them, they re-released it. That doesn't count. Endgame gets the record.
They'll probably re-release Endgame in a few years. I don't know.
Endgame's at 2 with basically $2.8 billion.
Yeah,
Yeah, that movie is unreal.
yeah.
And then Avatar's at 2.9.
Yeah. All right. My number 4 is Infinity War. I have Infinity War the highest ranked of the three of us. It's a bit of personal bias for me. Shout out my dad. His favorite character in all of fiction is Thanos.
Rightfully so.
I went to go see it with him because when it came out and it was like, okay, this is where Thanos makes the introduction. I was like, Dad, you want to go see this? He was like, hell yeah, I do. We saw it opening like day. I'm not kidding. It came out a Friday. I went to school, came home from school at like 3, hopped in my dad's car and went to see it with a theater full of people. I have never felt like no movie has ever made me like actually like just sit there with my mouth open for the entire post-credit scene. And my dad, after the movie, I was like, did they do Thanos right? He said they did Thanos better than I ever thought they could have.
Yeah.
So that's me personally, why I have it ranked as high as I do. We've talked about it ad nauseum for you mentioned it.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's easily the best Marvel movie in my opinion. I think it's the best.
It's 2 for me.
Yeah, I know it's 2 for you. In my opinion, I think it's
Yeah.
the best.
It's a flip of the coin,
Yeah.
between those two. But I think that Thanos is like the second best villain in cinema history. Personally, we were talking about that.
I don't think he is.
Oh, I think he
He's
is.
up there.
He's up there for sure, but I wouldn't call him two.
we were talking about that, and no one agreed with me. But I said Vader, Thanos, and then I can't remember who else I said.
Yeah,
We went through a list.
Infinity War, phenomenal movie. We've talked about it ad nauseum. It's a phenomenon. When I think about pre-COVID, I think about like the Endgame.
Yeah.
Those 2 movies.
Yeah,
I like.
Well,
Man,
plus they were back to back was
Yeah.
the craziest thing.
yeah.
yeah. Infinity War's 4 for me. We've talked about it. List your 4, Weaver.
So my 4, this is a movie that I have not seen in a very long time, but it is, as far as I know, widely considered as one of the best movies ever. Gladiator with Russell Crowe.
Phenomenal movie.
Great movie.
Great
Not
movie.
on my list, but great movie.
I have not seen it in a long time, but that is just
That's the one with Joaquin Phoenix, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
that
the
was one of
emperor.
my,
That is just one of the most like
mentions.
coolest like. Well,
Well,
that's
they're
a
coming with the second
powerful
one.
movie too.
Yeah, they're
it
making the
won't-
second one.
it's
It won't
not
be
gonna
as
be
good as the
as
first
near
one,
as good.
but...
It won't be near.
But
as
I'm
good.
honestly shocked they're coming out with the second.
Yeah, I don't think they should come out with the second one. But no,
First one's phenomenal.
it is a really, really good
Long
movie.
movie.
Absolutely awesome movie, and I think it is like widely considered one of the best.
It's a great movie. I don't know about widely considered one of the best ever, but it's a great
I
movie.
think it would be
For sure.
It's a really good movie.
It's really good.
It did.
I
That
enjoy
one
it.
did also win the Oscar for the best
Yeah,
picture.
Joaquin Phoenix won. Didn't he win an Oscar for that too?
I don't know,
Or
probably.
did he only win one for Joker?
He won one for Joker.
I know he won one for
I have
Joker.
no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, but Russell Crowe's the main character.
I'm not that into
so-
the Oscars.
Yeah, but awesome movie. Really,
If you wanna
really
talk
enjoyed
about
the movie.
All
I gotta
Nick,
watch it
You
again.
go with 3.
All right, number 3.
Did you say you're 4?
Yeah, I
Um,
started. I said Endgame.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
his
right.
4 is Endgame. This is a director that we haven't talked about. We haven't mentioned a Tarantino movie in here.
I haven't seen it.
And people,
haven't seen
you
it in a
might
while.
be thinking I'm going Pulp Fiction or something. Pulp Fiction's in my honorable mentions. It's not. It's Inglourious Bastards.
It's really good.
It's unbelievable.
Who stars in that?
Christoph Waltz, Brad Pitt is in it.
I've heard it's a great.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. There's a couple like big time international actors in that movie as well. It's just I love it, man. I love it so much. I'm a big time World War II guy. I love that movie so much. Christoph Waltz as Hans Landa is one of the most menacing characters I have seen in any movie ever. Like you two haven't seen it. You all need to watch it. I think it's actually free
it's
on
my list.
YouTube.
It's on my list.
Like I think you can look on YouTube. The quality of it is not like as good as if you like bought it, but you
Yeah.
can watch it on free on YouTube. I can't wait to get that taken down now that I just mentioned it. But yeah, it's phenomenal from start to finish. The opening scene of that movie is one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen in any movie. Where a little bit of spoilers, but he goes to this guy's house, and the main villain's an SS officer. He's going to this guy's house in I think it's France. Yeah, he's in France. Unbelievable movie from start to finish. It's funny. It's action packed. I'm a big time enjoyer of it. So yeah, I think it's my favorite Tarantino movie.
Tarantino's a legendary.
Yeah, I don't know if I would necessarily call it the best. I think I'd probably say Pulp Fiction is still his best movie,
Yeah,
but I love it. I love Inglourious Basterds so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch Wonderful. It's really good. One of the reviews said on Letterboxd said I would never invite Hitler to my movie premiere. That guy's bad news.
Yeah,
What?
you watch it. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch the movie to understand what happens.
All right, who wants to start with 3? Top 3 now.
Evan, you do 3.
I'll
Top
do
3.
Okay.
Wasn't that your third?
That was my 3rd. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
Oh, you started with 3?
Yeah, that was his
that was
third.
3 for
Sorry.
me.
Okay, my 3 is The Dark Knight. I think it's the best Batman movie ever created. Another Christopher Nolan masterclass. Joker's one of the all-time villains. Christian Bale played
One of the all-time villains.
the all-time
The all-time.
the
villain.
all-time villain. Heath Ledger.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, I mean every award that he won was well deserved. Just phenomenal performance from start to finish.
I got a Charlie horse in my leg. I don't know how that even happened, but that happened.
And then Christian Bale plays a phenomenal Batman. I love his Batman. Just hands down one of the best superhero movies in my opinion. Definitely the best DC movie. For sure.
It's not even a contest.
And
It's
even
like
though it doesn't-
embarrassing.
It's not even in like the DC universe, but phenomenal movie. I've seen that movie so many times, and it's good every single time. It's just you can't say enough about it. Great movie, one of Christopher Nolan's best. So it's number 3.
So 3 for me is also The Dark Knight.
Phenomenal.
I think The Dark Knight's probably the best superhero movie ever. It is also objectively one of the best movies ever. It is a phenomenal
From start to
film.
finish. It's just
Unbelievable film. Like performances by everybody is just crazy. Star-studded cast: Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Michael Caine. You got
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman. I mean, it just,
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian Murphy's
Cillian
in there.
Murphy's in
He's
there.
only in there for like one scene.
well,
with
he plays the
Scarecrow.
villain in
He
Batman
was the
Begins.
Scarecrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, The Dark Knight is just. I mean, it is just. Everybody knows that that's just a phenomenal movie. It's just the music in that movie is awesome. Like the score is really
Tumblr
good.
is sick.
The Tumblr scene. I like the motorcycle is really cool. Like it's just everything about this movie is just freaking awesome.
Well,
Like
even
this
like-
is just a classic Christopher Nolan film.
Well, even like the first scene when they're like robbing the bank,
Yeah.
you can it automatically sets,
Right from the jump.
sets
Yeah.
the tone of what this movie's going to be like.
Yeah, and I mean that movie is just so freaking good.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And yeah, I mean it's
And-
by far the best Batman. It's not close. And we did our Batman rankings, and Christian Bale is just by. I mean,
I wouldn't say he's by far the best
Oh,
Batman, but
it's
I think
by
he's the best
far.
Batman.
Movie wise,
Yeah.
Christian Bale
Movie-wise, it's
is
easily.
just not even. It's not close. It's not close.
like I think this it's like heralded as like I think it's like a 5-star.
It is. It has to be.
A what?
5-star. Someone commented, "If you do not like this movie, I do not like you."
That's honestly real.
reasonable. That's so real.
The Dark Knight is this one. I don't care what you say about Gladiator. This one is widely
Yes,
considered
easily.
one of the
Definitely.
best movies ever.
It should be.
100%.
Great
It's
film.
amazing.
Absolutely love it.
Who wants to do number 2?
I'll start out with two. So my number 2 is we have finally arrived at this one. I think you hit it earlier. Somebody hit it earlier, but it's finally here for me. The Empire Strikes Back is number 2, and I have no idea why it's not higher on your list.
I just like. I think it might be partially because it was like old.
I don't
I
care.
didn't grow up.
I don't care.
My dad's favorite.
This is the best Star Wars movie and one of the best movies of all time. Bombshell, I'm Your Father. I mean, you talked about it earlier. This is just definitely one of the best movies of all time. And it is the best Star Wars movie. And it's my 2.
You want to give your 2, Ev?
Mine too.
All right, my 2's Infinity War. We've talked.
Oh, you didn't say anything more? Oh, I didn't have the highest ranked out of the 3 of us.
Dang, you got it at 2?
Actually, wait, no, sorry, I switched that. Sorry, that's my 1. My bad.
Dang, Infinity War is your best movie ever?
I love that movie.
That's reasonable. I can't
love
even
that
hate on
movie.
it.
I'll talk about my Infinity War. 2 is Across the Spider-Verse.
That's wild.
Across the
That's
Spider-Verse.
That's your 2?
That was on my list. That was 9.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought that was
Across
lower
the
than you.
Spider-Verse is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Visually, plot-wise, I love the character of Miles Morales. I rewatched it like the other day with my roommate, and I was like, holy crap, this movie is amazing. Soundtrack is unbelievable. It's just, like Nick said, the best animated film I've ever seen. I love that movie so much, and I'm probably going to watch it a lot more, and I cannot wait till the next one. It's amazing. I love that movie
Yeah.
so much.
And then Infinity War is your 1.
Yeah. And my take about Infinity War, I think Infinity War is better than Endgame because from start to finish, Infinity War, like, has a lot of action, there's stuff going on, and then in Endgame it gets slow, like Nick said, but the end is the best.
Yes.
But the overall movie, I think Infinity War is better. Plus, I remember going to that opening night and I left like, holy crap, what just happened? Yeah, it was mixed emotions.
The funny story
But
about
love that
Infinity
movie so
War.
much.
Before we get to, I think do you do 2? Okay,
did
so I'll
2.
do 2 next. Funny story about Infinity War. It came out my freshman year of high school. I was sitting at a lunch table with 2 of my friends, and one of my friends saw it that Thursday night. He got it like opening night, like pre-release stuff.
As you should.
That's
Yeah.
what I did.
I didn't have the luxury of doing that. I couldn't drive yet, so, unfortunately. But I asked him how he saw it. He was like, it was unbelievable. And he was like, I'm going to spoil it for you. I was like, no, don't do that. He's like, I don't care. He's like, every single one of them dies outside of the people who lived. And he told me that. I didn't even get spoiled. I thought he was joking. I was like, no, you're lying. There's no way. I didn't even like.
I would have shot that guy.
It was so like, unbelievably far fetched, like out there. I was like, no, I didn't even look it up. I didn't even look up whether that actually happened or not because I was like, there's no way. And then I went to go see Infinity War. I'm like, oh my lord, that actually happened. He wasn't lying.
Dude, if you spoiled those movies for me, like I would genuinely be so mad.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my friends. He's like, why didn't you like jump that guy afterwards? I was like, because I didn't believe him.
Like, dude, like that's honestly part of the reason why I made sure to go see Endgame on Thursday night. I was like, dude, I'm not letting this get spoiled for me. And like, I remember like at school, well, I mean, at least in the elementary school, like where my dad teaches in the elementary school, like people, like kids were like getting sent to the principal office for spoiling
it, yeah.
Endgame, for spoiling Endgame. Like kids got in trouble for that. Like that's how big of a deal it was.
That's how.
Yeah, it's.
All right, so my number two is Interstellar.
That's foul.
I think that's fair.
It's a freaking awesome.
I don't know why it's rated like a 7.4
On what?
On like IMDb or something.
That movie's so good.
That in and of itself makes me invalidate IMDb as a rating.
Real.
Like,
Most of it is IMDb. Is that like movie critic reviews,
Yeah.
or is that like normal?
Movie
I
critics
think
are
they just
morons.
do like they do movie critics. They also do shows. They just do like TV stuff.
Movie critics are morons.
We've talked about it ad nauseum. Interstellar's the only movie that's ever made me actually cry. To this day, it's unbelievable. It is one of the most tear-jerking movies of all time. It really tugs at your heartstrings of being human, and it's like on one hand you need to do stuff to better society, better the human race, but on the other hand, like
At what
you're
cost,
leaving everything
you know?
behind, literally everything behind,
Yeah.
for an unspecified amount of time.
Well, and also like another kind of heartbreaking thing, which I'm hoping you've seen this movie, but when he was like the main scientist was like,
yeah, what the
I
heck
kinda
was
just said
that?
Michael Caine was like, I literally just did this so people would
and I-
believe that.
Yeah, he was
we
like, I
cared
didn't
so
think
much.
anything was gonna come.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Which I saw that I was like, what the heck?
What the heck, man?
when he said that, I
Screw
was
you,
like,
Michael
yeah,
Caine.
Yeah.
like why would you
He's a
send?
Christopher Nolan state.
Yeah.
Why would
He
you
saved
send?
himself as Alfred.
Why would you send like a couple of extremely brave astronauts to the other side of the universe when you
as like
know?
as like a pot shot.
Yeah, when you know that it's not going to work. But I mean,
It did.
luckily it did
Yeah.
work. But like, why would you do? Like, how evil of a person do you
Yeah.
have to be to do that?
I completely forgot that even happened.
Like,
I
that
forgot
shot
about
was
that.
Like that is
shocked
just
me.
that is just like one of the most evil things. Like I was furious when that happened.
Well, I'm also interested, like, what happened to Anne Hathaway's character? 'Cause she's just on that.
Yeah,
planet,
she
right?
just went to that other planet, and that's where her story ended.
And then he was like, he went out to get her.
Maybe one
I
day
want
you'll
to
see
know.
her
I
again.
want to know, like, what happened.
Well,
Yeah.
wasn't that a habitable planet?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like, but he went.
Well, no, that was the planet that they're bringing everybody to, right?
I have no idea.
Eventually, I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, because they were traveling because like when
But
Her
she thinks,
task
but
was to
she-
build a
she
society
thinks
on
that
that
he's
planet.
dead, though. So I think.
well,
it
but
would
at
be
some
cool.
point they will get to that
yeah,
planet
but
with
we're
the
not
whole
gonna,
human
but
race.
we're not going to see that unless
Yeah.
they come up with an interstellar.
They're not. If they
They
do
are.
that,
They
no.
are.
which
They
I
are.
don't think.
They don't. They should never do that.
No,
I think they talked about it.
Yeah.
no,
But they
but
should not.
yeah, because I'm pretty sure when they pulled him out of the fifth dimension, it was when they were like in space, like traveling to that world.
They're in
right?
some like weird circle thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the spaceship, because Matt Damon sabotaged the spaceship.
Oh, that guy made me mad too.
And then, in order for her to get to that planet, Matthew McConaughey's character had to like basically sacrifice himself.
Yeah,
and
by
he
going
was-
through the black
by going
hole.
through the black hole.
So she
That's what
thinks
happened.
he's dead.
Yes.
but he's actually. But like, I would think it'd be cool to see like her reaction, like him actually.
Yeah, that would be
Well,
cool.
and then they like him along with the rest of the human race like finally arrives on the planet.
Yeah.
Which is implied, but we don't see it.
Which probably makes the ending a lot better.
Yeah.
That's a really good movie. All right, you want to do one?
You
or
do
me?
your one. I'm interested to see what you have in one.
I'm kind of interested to see what you have, to
All
be
right,
honest with you. Because if I'm the only one that has this on my list, you guys are both totally invalid people.
You might be.
Well, you already are, but I mean, I got this. Do you want me to say it, or do you want to?
Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Number one, like it still shocks me that like people don't have this in there. Number one is The Return of the King.
It's in my honorable mentions.
How?
It's in my honorable mentions. It's
I'll
there.
give you a good rating on that when I watch it again. I haven't
Like,
seen it.
I
Probably.
mean, this is one of the best movies of all time.
Yeah, agreed.
Lord of the Rings is probably the best trilogy ever made, and
Yeah,
this
it's up there.
concludes it. This also was another Best Picture award winner. I mean, this is just an unbelievable movie.
Yeah, it's
like
it's
the character,
phenomenal.
like the climax of every character. Frodo, is he gonna destroy the ring? He does, and Gollum dies, and the Return of the
Rest in
King.
peace,
He takes up his mantle of king, and Sauron. He dies, and it's like, I mean, this is just. I mean, this movie is just phenomenal.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
this is
fantastic.
the
It is-
climax and the absolute stuck the landing of the
Yeah.
best trilogy
It is
ever in
my
cinema
first
history.
honorable mention. The only reason
You
why
guys are invalid.
the only reason why it is not in my top
My
10.
take is, I'm not going to say anything about it because I haven't seen it in a long time, so I briefly remember it. But I'm going to rewatch it this summer, and then I'll give.
I mean, I haven't seen it in a while either.
The thing that doesn't have it in my top 10 is like you could tell the plot of the movie to a 5-year-old. It's like good guys live, bad guys die, and everyone's like yippee.
Well, that's what happens in half these movies.
But it's like you could just tell from the start of the entire saga that was what's going to happen.
as with all these other movies.
I think it's too like just a little bit too linear, a little bit too predictable for me. In terms of
this is objectively one of the best movies ever.
yeah, I agree.
Objectively.
Yeah, I think it's the best Lord of the Rings movie of the three. It completes a trilogy that defines a generation.
The only trilogy that realistically stands up to Lord of the Rings is the original Star Wars.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Like, seriously.
yeah,
The Dark Knight trilogy is awesome and all, but, like,
it's not.
Not as
the
good.
Lord of the Rings is just
It's got the best
unbelievable. I mean, the
In
Return of the
terms
King.
of a visual spectacle, it might not get better than Return of the King.
No. I
truthfully.
mean, that is just an
I just need to rewatch.
awesome
it.
movie.
Then I'll get my take about it.
Like, I
But I haven't
just...
seen it in a long time.
So
Very good.
So
Yeah.
I need to watch those again.
Yeah.
So
I rewatched-
good.
They're coming to theater. All of them are
Yeah,
When?
this summer. We should definitely.
We
go
should
watch
I'm
probably
down.
do that.
Yeah,
I mean, this is just...
I mean, I watched all the Lord of the Rings movies like a couple months ago.
It's been a long time
Yeah.
for me, so I'm down to do that. But, I mean, seriously, though, you're not going to get a much better movie than this. This is one of the best. This is... I mean, it's my one... this is...
Yeah, I can't hate on it.
If
at
this
all.
movie is not even in your top 5, then I'm probably not going to listen to your list at all. Like, honestly speaking.
So, June 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Oh, okay.
June 8th is Connor's wedding.
Well, we'll go after the wedding.
Or we watch the one at home and then we watch 9 and 10.
Yeah,
Right after.
we'll watch Fellowship of the Ring at home, and then we'll watch 9.
Well,
and 10.
either
And
way,
then
we
the two towers.
we got to watch Fellowship of the Ring
Yeah.
the same day. We might as well go see it in the theater.
That's true.
We'll think of it.
We'll think about
We'll
it.
see how the schedule
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to go see Fellowship of the Ring on the day that Connor's wedding is.
It's after the wedding!
I know, but it's still.
It depends how long it is.
No, those guys are leaving for Florida after the wedding.
Oh, are they?
Yes!
What
Well-
time's his wedding?
It's the middle of the day.
Oh, I thought it was later than that.
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
go
yeah,
watch
yeah,
it
yeah,
after
yeah.
the wedding.
Yeah, I'm down.
We'll play it later.
So
We'll be
yeah,
dying.
my number one. If you know me, you
I'm
asked
very
me,
interested to see
You asked
this.
me what movie I would watch. You asked me, hey, you want to watch a movie? You can say, put on whatever you want. I'm gonna put on The Dark Knight,
Okay.
and that's number one for me.
Phenomenal.
When you talk about
You have somewhat saved
when
your
I
respectability.
want,
You haven't.
It's
Oh,
gone.
Dark Knight in the top 3. What
yeah,
are you
Dark
talking
Knight in the
about?
top 3.
And
This
Infinity War 1.
this was the
Your 2 was egregious.
Well, you're not a lover of those movies.
No, I love those movies, but 2 is a little bit absurd.
for what?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Trust.
I mean, yeah.
Above the Lord of the Rings.
The Dark Knight is just. I mean, we've talked about it. This was the easiest selection on the whole list for me. Like when I talk about my favorite movie of all time, it's The Dark Knight. It's not close. Heath Ledger, rest in peace, his soul. I am so sad that he passed away shortly after this movie finished filming. And obviously, there's all those allegations like, did playing the Joker mess with his psyche? Did it cause him to potentially overdose? A bit of a heavy subject, but I mean, it's just Christian Bale is one of my favorite actors, and he gets overshadowed
Yeah.
in this. Do you know how hard that is to do? To overshadow Christian Bale
I mean, Heath Ledger just delivered an
on
unbelievable
all-time
Joker.
performance.
I mean,
like
it's-
it is up there with best performance in any movie I've ever seen.
Probably, yeah.
It's up there
by
If
far
not-
the best Joker.
Yeah, not
I
even
don't
close.
I don't really care.
Yeah, there's
Like, I don't
care
him
what my
and
dad
then
says,
every other
bro.
Joker's on the floor.
My dad's like Jack Nicholson. Jack
What?
Nicholson needs to be up there. I'm like, I understand that you saw him, but it's not a contest.
I think some people think Joaquin Phoenix, but I don't even. He
Joaquin Phoenix played a good
He
like,
don't scratch
psychopath, but
Yeah.
I don't know if
not
I
the
would call him
Joker.
the best
though.
Joker.
Not even close.
But I mean, yeah, The Dark Knight. Why am I blanking on her name right now?
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
No, I mean that's her name, but what character she played?
Rachel.
Rachel. Yeah. I mean, Rachel getting literally Logan'd in the middle of the movie is brutal.
Yeah.
The character arc of Two-Face.
Yeah.
Just Harvey Dent, the way he turns into Two-Face is peak cinema. Heath
Yeah.
Ledger all-time performance. Michael Caine did great as Alfred as usual. Morgan Freeman, Gary Oldman
I
as
forgot
the
about Gary
commissioner.
Oldman, too, yeah.
It's just from start to finish, you're glued to your TV screen, man. It's
And like when there's time where like, oh, he finally won, and then something else happens.
And the thing is, the Joker wins. He gets Harvey Dent to turn, which was his goal all along.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess the Joker didn't really die. He's just hanging from a building. But,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the last time we're going to see him because
Yeah.
it's
And
just...
Batman takes the fall for
Yeah,
everything.
he
So I
does.
guess good guy loses again in that movie.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. It's a phenomenal movie. It's getting to be a little bit dated. I don't care. Like, it has that peak late 2000s aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Yeah.
It's so, like, nostalgic. It's nostalgic. It's action-packed. The score's phenomenal. I mean, Christopher Nolan is... I'm not going to call him the best director, but he's my favorite director.
Yeah,
His
he might
resume
be.
is pretty hard to beat.
He might be.
He's pretty tough to beat. But, I mean, phenomenal movie. Dark Knight includes my top 10.
Like, every time Christopher Nolan drops a movie, I'm like, that's
It's a must-see.
That's going to be a
It's
really
a must-see.
good movie.
Yeah.
But
All right, shall we get to some honorable mentions?
Yeah, briefly
I'm just
run
going to
over some
skip through
honorable
the honorable
mentions.
mentions. Like, I'll tell you and say, oh, I love this movie. You want me to go first?
You
Are
can
we
if
just
you
going to go like one, or
Nah,
should we
just list
five?
all of them,
Okay.
yeah.
So my honorable mentions. At the very beginning of the podcast, I said that I was really struggling with 10 and 11. I chose Maverick for 10. My 11 is Jurassic Park. Love
yeah.
that movie.
Yeah, that's fair. It's on here.
Love that movie. That is an all-time Steven Spielberg film. Number 12 is The Return of the Jedi, where the good guys win.
The good guys win at that,
because
yeah.
I love that movie and I love the good guys winning. Great conclusion to the original trilogy. 13, Saving Private Ryan. I struggled to not put this one higher because this movie is...
It's fantastic.
This is the best war movie, I think. I mean,
If you count Inglourious Bastards as a war movie, Inglourious Bastards is better.
I've never seen it,
Yeah,
but I think
okay,
Saving
fair
Private
enough.
Ryan is really freaking good. 14 is The Lion King. That's a
old
movie
one?
that you got to give a shout out. Yeah,
Yeah, shout out to The Lion King.
yeah. The story is a Shakespeare story, so
It's Hamlet, but
Yeah.
for kids. That's what it is.
Yeah, and it's a really good
It's
movie.
probably one of my favorite Disney movies.
That is just a great story, great movie. And then the last one, I edited this one when I got here because we said that we're doing our favorite movies. So a special mention that I got to throw it out here because I love these movies is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. That
Fair.
movie, the
movie.
one that just came out.
Yeah, I saw
That
that.
movie
That one's really
Yeah,
is
that one's really good.
freaking
really good.
awesome with the AI as the villain. It's like,
That's another one that's like, oh, this could actually happen.
yeah, it was another one of those with Oppenheimer where I'm like, oh shoot, like
This is a
artificial
real possibility
intelligence.
we
Yeah.
have to consider.
Yeah, and I like how in that movie, like, AI is the villain, and it's like when that it's a part 1 and a part 2, so we haven't seen the part 2 yet, but like when part 1 concluded, it's like how in the world are they going to beat this thing? It is an all powerful villain. Like that's what they made it seem
Part
like.
two's
in the
gonna be
movie.
really good.
So I'm excited for part
Do you
2
know when that comes out?
next year, next May. I thought part 2 was coming out.
Is gonna be
I thought
Yeah,
part 2.
2025 is going to be so good.
I thought part 2 was coming out this May, and I was pretty disappointed to find out it's
Didn't
next
I tell you it was next May?
Well,
I
it
think
probably
so,
was
right?
supposed to
Yeah.
be this May, but the right.
Yeah.
writer's strike.
So I was a little disappointed in that, but really, really awesome movie. It's got to be in my special mentions, number 15 for me. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
All right. My honorable mentions. I don't have these ranked. I kind of just made a list of movies that I would also consider some of my favorites. Already mentioned Return of the King. Already mentioned Revenge of the Sith. Already mentioned Pulp Fiction. Django Unchained is in there as well. Another fantastic
I've heard
Tarantino
that's a
movie.
good movie.
Jamie Foxx stars. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it. Christoph Waltz is also in it. Fantastic movie. Great movie. I think it's on Netflix, so you can watch it there. I Remember the Titans
Oh,
in
that's a
here
good movie.
too.
Great movie.
That's
That's one
I
of
think
the
it's my favorite
movies
sports
I've
movie
cried.
that they've ever come out with.
Great movie.
You ever seen Rocky?
You count Rocky as a sports movie?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
then
kinda half-
I'd
it's
probably
kind of
put
half
Rocky
and
above.
half.
Yeah, in terms of like strictly sports movies,
I'm surprised you didn't
I
put
would
that
put
on.
Remember the Titans.
Rocky's on the list. It just didn't crack 15
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, I don't have Rocky here, but I would put Rocky here.
Yeah, Rocky.
Rocky and Rocky 4, I'd probably
Yeah,
put here.
yeah.
Great movies.
I have Fight Club on here as well.
I've heard that's good.
Love Fight
That's
Club.
on my
Brad
list.
Pitt.
I've heard that movie's really
It's on my
good.
watch list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a great
I haven't
movie.
seen it, but
Great
yeah.
twist. And then I want to preface, I have Jurassic Park on here too.
Have to.
I also want to preface that these are my favorite movies. I have Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Roderick Rules on here too.
Diary of a Kid's
The OG 3 movies are hilarious. They are so unbelievably funny. I think Roderick Rules is the best of the 3. The party scene is still one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever. It's a little bit like deep too. It deals with like family trouble, which is like kind of a hard-hitting subject for like children, because that's like the vast majority of people that are watching it. Big nostalgia for me. It's in there. One of my favorite movies. I think that's it. Those are my honorable mentions in there.
I'm glad that Rocky was mentioned because it
deserves to be mentioned.
It's a good movie. That is an all-time movie. But also, actually, you know what? You go. You got it.
Okay. We're prefacing these are favorite movies. This doesn't mean that they're the best movies. They're favorite movies. So these are just movies that I can just turn on and I know are going to be just great movies. I got Black Panther.
Oh yeah, that deserves a shout out.
Black Panther is probably one of my favorite. Like that's top 3 Marvel movie for me, honestly. I love Black Panther. Chadwick Boseman, again, R.I.P.
Rest in peace.
I can't believe
he's dead, dude.
That's just
his performance is amazing. I love that movie so much. And then another good Marvel movie, Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
I love that movie.
Phenomenal.
I also love Civil War.
See, personally, like I think this is another hot take, but I think I personally might almost enjoy Winter Soldier more than Black Panther.
That's fine.
I love
Winter Soldier is
Soldier's
very
really
good.
good.
that. Like
Winter
for
Soldier
me,
is
that
very
is a top 5 Marvel movie for sure. Even up there with like Endgame and Infinity War. And stuff.
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Winter
So
Soldier's
much.
very good. And then Top Gun Maverick, I didn't have that one on there.
Yeah,
But
you got it.
phenomenal movie. And then the last 2 were just like, funny, feel-good movies. They're comedies. No one's put any comedies on there, so we're going to put some comedies. Anchorman is probably my favorite comedy.
I haven't seen that.
With Will Ferrell.
Anchorman's really funny. I'm a big
Will
fan
Ferrell,
of it.
Paul Rudd, what's his name? Todd Packer. I can never remember that guy's name.
Todd Packer.
And then Steve Carell. It's hilarious every time I watch it. It's so funny. And then a movie that you and me have seen a lot. The Hangover.
Yes.
Oh no, I didn't get the Hangover would be my favorite.
I was sitting here crossing my fingers. It was gonna be Hangover. I love that movie.
I love
That
the
movie's
Hangover.
hilarious.
Okay, well, you threw me for a loop when you said it's a movie we've seen a lot. I thought you were gonna say Tropic Thunder.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
And then it's right here. But I was like, is that too outrageous?
Tropic
to say?
Thunder is
Tropic
awesome.
Thunder's hilarious. But Hangover, I've seen that movie probably 5 or 6 times, and it's funny.
It's good every
I
time.
love watching that movie.
That movie's really good.
Yeah.
That'll be our bachelor parties. We end up having Mike Tyson's Tiger.
Oh gosh.
Why did Mike Tyson agree to
don't
be in
know.
that? Why did Mike Tyson agree to be in the Hangover?
I don't know, but it's awesome.
I also like the style of that movie too, where they show everything that happened, or like you sit there
They
and you're
say
like, wait,
this-
what the heck just happened, and then they retrace everything, and then at the end you actually see
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah.
I like how they do
That movie is just hilarious.
that movie's so funny.
Yeah.
And then Anchorman's hilarious too.
Yeah.
And then also Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder is
Tropic Thunder is
Shout out
awesome.
Tropic
You talk
Thunder.
about star-studded cast.
That is a truly star-studded. Have you
so-
seen that movie?
Yeah, I've
Okay,
That
good.
is
Yeah.
star-studded.
That is a true
Yeah,
star-studded.
that movie's hilarious.
So the last shout out that I will give that it must be on this table. Shadas. It really has to be on this table. If you haven't seen Shadas, it is a Jamaican gangster film.
It's
And
free on Prime.
It is free on Prime. Watch it now.
It's so terrible. so awful.
You haven't seen it. You gotta watch it.
It's very funny.
That movie is a special
Every
mention
single
on this
time I
table.
go to your house, you're like, we have to watch Shadows, and then we never watch Shadows.
I can't even count how many times we've probably seen that movie.
We have seen Shadas more than 5 times. Doucette has seen it more than like 15.
He watched it every time he goes to
Every time we are hanging out at my house and everybody else except him falls asleep, he watched that movie.
It's really funny.
That movie is on the table here. So that's the last one I got.
Wow.
But I did have it was tough making this list
Yeah,
though, man,
this
because I
list was
like
difficult.
movies that I didn't even mention, like Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump, Jaws.
Well,
Like
my-
I didn't even mention Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Like I mean, those are all movies that I written down. As
Shawshank deserves a shout out too. I think that's
Yeah.
like the highest rated movie on IMDb.
It is,
Shawshank
yeah.
Redemption.
Like these are all movies that
Green
I had.
Mile, I think, deserves a shout out.
I haven't
too.
seen that movie, but I've heard it's so
It
good
is.
though.
It's really good.
Forrest Gump though. You got
Forrest Gump too.
Forrest Gump.
Like, see, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like,
We can go on.
there's a lot of great movies
Yeah.
out there.
But alas, had to narrow it down to that 10, and
had
it
to
was
narrow it
tough.
down to
It was
10.
tough, but I respect my list.
Yeah.
I respect.
I
my
respect
list.
it too. I think all 10 of mine are objectively good movies. Should we go over our list one more time?
Yeah, just name off the 10.
Yeah, go 10-1, Weaver.
10-1. Top Gun: Maverick, The Revenge of the Sith, The Raiders of the Lost Ark, Interstellar, Avengers: Infinity War, Avengers: Endgame, Gladiator, The Dark Knight, The Empire Strikes Back, and The Return of the King.
All right. 10 for me was La La Land. 9 was Across the Spider-Verse. 8 was Schindler's List. 7 was Oppenheimer. 6 was Empire Strikes Back. 5 was Hereditary. 4 was Infinity War. 3 was Inglourious Bastards. 2 was Interstellar. And number 1 was The Dark Knight.
Mine was 10 Ocean's 11, 9 Avatar, 8 Guardians of the Galaxy, 7 Dune 2, 6 Interstellar, 5 Revenge of the Sith, 4 Endgame, 3 Dark Knight, 2 Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, and 1 Infinity War. So, yeah, that is our top 10 favorite movie lists. Favorite. Prefacing that.
movie list.
But yeah, let us know what your guys' favorite movies are. Let us know if you enjoyed this type of content, because we're going to try to do a little bit more movie/pop culture stuff over the summer, just to kind of, expand.
Break it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
because we love watching movies, as I'm sure you could tell. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed.
Also, we do appreciate all the support
Yes.
recently on like the draft stuff and
Yes.
all that stuff. We appreciate you all watching.
We had April was probably our best month. Was our best month of the podcast. So yeah, we appreciate you guys for watching us talk about sports and movies now.
Yeah.
So yeah, appreciate you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. We'll see you guys in the next one.